How you doing, YouTube? This is Welcome to Development, and this is part 4 of my stone math series. In this part, we are going to talk about one of the most important things I have ever learned when making stones, and that is how to lighten your stones. If you've seen all the videos up to this point, you now know how to find the volumes of your stone molds, correctly that is, and also know the weights per cubic inch of my 2 picks of concrete. And I believe in part 1 I gave good advice on how to figure it out yourself if you choose to use a different brand of concrete. But this is the bread and butter of what I do, because 9 times out of 10, somebody does not want a 235-pound stone that's 18 inches. They usually want a 170-pound stone that also happens to be 18 inches. They don't want a 175 that's 16 inches. They want a 16-inch stone that weighs 150 pounds, and things of this nature. There are 2 main ways to lighten stones. The most popular way out there right now that I'm sort of trying in my own passive push to get everybody away from is using foam inserts to lighten their stones. The reason I am not the biggest fan of foam inserts is because of the methodology used to use them, as well as what it does to your final product. To use foam lightening inserts, all they are is basically a ball. A foam ball. You can even pick them up at an arts and crafts store. I believe Slater sells them at slater.com, which is where I prefer to get my molds. Slater molds, best molds on the planet. And if you buy them from Slater, he actually sells them with a bolt through them already and a string. And the methodology that you use is to basically drill a hole in the very bottom, try to center it, of your stone mold. Tie a string to the screw that's in the bottom of the mold now. There we go. And make it so the string is halfway up the mold, that way it's in the center, and the concrete will kind of keep it in the center on its own around the sides. And as you fill it, it will float up and stay right there in the middle. There's a few problems I have with this. Number 1, it limits the size of mold you can use, because on average you're going to want at least 2 inches of concrete between the foam ball and the world. Your driveway is at least 4 inches thick, I promise you. And if it's not, it's probably cracked by now. And the reason is because the thicker concrete you have, the stronger it will be. So that means if you want to lighten, say, a really small mold, I don't know for what reason you'd want to do this, but let's just say hypothetically, you wanted to take an 8-inch mold and make it even lighter than I believe the 20 pounds it ends up being. You really can't. There's no way to do it. Enter Maximizer Concrete. I discussed this one time in my first video, but this is the key ingredient and the secret to making lighter stones. This is the fucking snake oil of making lighter stones. I promise you it is the way to go. Its cons involve a lot of math, and I am not smart enough to come up with a formula to just give you to say, here, just plug in stone mold size and the weight that you want, and it tells you how much of each one of these to use. If somebody out there is smart enough to make one of these formulas, for fuck's sake, please make it and give it to me. Holy shit, I need it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna end up with a giant notebook where I've gone through piece by piece and just slowly adding 5 pounds of this one to take away 5 pounds of that one to figure out and try to make a fucking mold that works, a stone that fucking works, and it's a pain in the ass. And these are the cons of using Maximizer. But what the fuck am I talking about? What am I even talking about? What does all this mean? Well, I'll put it up on the screen, what I'm looking at right now. And this is a calculation. What I was trying to come up with was a 180-pound stone out of an 18-inch mold. Now you see I have my calculations here. The way I am doing this right now, and I know it's fucking stupid, but I'm too stupid to figure out a better way to do it. So if somebody out there smarter than me, figure it out, please do it. Holy shit. I am humble enough to admit I have no fucking clue how to make a formula to make this easier, but I know it can be done. I digress. In the first example, you see, all I'm doing is pulling a number out of my ass. And I'm just going to say, all right, 99 pounds of 5,000 psi concrete. So we take the 99 pounds and we need to figure out how much volume that takes up. When we do the math, we figure out that it takes up 1,285 cubic inches of space. So then we take the total mold size, mold volume, and we subtract out that. Well, that leaves us with 1,642.44 cubic inches of space to make up for. Well, since we know the volume of what's left, then we just simply multiply it by the weight of Maximizer Concrete per cubic inch, and it tells us that we get 75.5. Then we just add those 2 weights, which comes out to 174.5. Obviously I've circled no, or boxed it, whatever you want to call it, to just say no, that's not the correct calculation. But I still keep this number because if I ever want to make a 174 or 75 pound stone, I now know how. And you see, all I did was figured out eventually that if I just added 5 pounds of 5,000 psi concrete, eventually it would add 2 pounds to the weight. And you see at the very bottom where I finally figured out the calculation and finally figured out the correct ratio. But why is this important? And why do I prefer to do this rather than just simply adding in a small sphere that I can very easily figure out the volume of and then just use the displacement there? The reason is because it's a better method, through and through. First of all, I'm not drilling my fucking molds, which will significantly reduce the life of my molds. And molds are fucking expensive. I mean, if you have $200 to drop every time something goes wrong with your mold or it cracks, boy oh boy, have fun. I don't. I don't feel like buying a new fucking mold all the time. I'm cursing a lot in this video because it's a very passionate subject for me. The other reason is because it makes a stronger stone. Using Maximizer concrete actually makes the stone stronger than just using regular 5,000 psi concrete. The reason is because Maximizer concrete cures at a higher PSI than Quikrete 5000 does. Quikrete, I believe it's somewhere around 5,500, maybe even 6,000 PSI. This means it cures harder, faster. Another great advantage over the foam insert when you use the Maximizer method is that it allows you to take stones that would never weigh that little and make them weigh that little. For instance, you could take a 22-inch stone mold that's supposed to weigh like 430 pounds and make it weigh as little as 190 pounds using just Maximizer concrete. Not only that, but this is going to be the strongest stone you ever make because it's, 22 inches of pure Maximizer concrete, which is going to be very strong. You could never do that with a foam insert. I don't even think they have foam inserts that big. Which leads me into the idea that I have talked about on my Why Your Stones Are Bad series, air. Anytime there's air in your concrete, this is somewhere where the integrity of the entire stone is at risk. Air means there's a pocket where part of it could collapse into itself, and this could be a very big issue. Think about it. You're taking stones and you're picking them up and dropping them down. Usually you're putting them over a bar, sometimes you're putting them up on a platform. Well, nobody takes them off the platform nice and gently because fuck that, they're heavy. And nobody's gonna stand on the other side of the bar and make sure they land softly. Usually they're dropped on mats or foam, but still they're taking a pounding all the time. Now, if you have taken a risk and somehow used a foam insert and it does not have enough room to fill in the concrete on the sidewalls of this thing, that's potentially allowing the stone a chance to break. It is air inside the stone. Air in the stone equals bad. On top of the fact that air fucks up your calculations, which is also why you need to check out my Why Your Stones Are Bad series, because I discuss different ways to make sure that you are getting all the air out of your stones. So I hope this video was a help to you. Be sure to check out all the past videos where I go over a lot of information. It's hard for me to sometimes explain this stuff, not because I don't understand it that well, but because I don't know how much you understand, and I still want these videos to stay relatively concise and hopefully a little bit entertaining, but most of all informative. So if you have any questions or comments, concerns, worries, anything of that nature, leave it down in the comment box below, and I will do my very best to get back to you in a quick, concise, and clear manner, and I make no promises to any of those. And be sure to subscribe, that way you don't miss the next video. Holy shit, I haven't been saying to subscribe in any of the other videos. Too late now. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, I can't help you, I guess. And feel free to share it around to the various sites if you know of anybody who could be using this video or any of the other videos in this series. I implore you to share it around and tell your friends. And be sure to stay tuned for the next part where I'm going to talk about making your stones heavier, because sometimes people want that. And if you don't, then what's your excuse?